Welcome back. We're here in Madang today with my wife Chelsea. We're heading back up to Goroka on a 25-minute flight. Should be nice weather, so let's go ahead and get started. Make sure my fuel is on and low start. Over 14%. We'll introduce my fuel, low idle. I'm watching the white needle, how fast it's coming up on the IATT. And because it's the first start, 6:37, so pretty normal. Headers off, fuel pump off, backward standby, generator on, alternator on, an auxiliary bus. Prop forward and get the air blowers going. No AC today, but at least it's some air. We got 345 kgs on board and 700 pounds of fuel, lots of extra fuel. So 650 on the cargo and passengers. If you're a flight simmer and you'd like to follow along with this flight, I'll leave the details down below, but basically just Madang and then Benning Gap and then up to Goroka. Like I said, 25-minute flight. I've got a lot of these on my Patreon page if you're interested in checking some of those out. We'll go back up to 10,000 just to cool off. Madang Tower, November, Tango, Echo, request taxi, Goroka, 2 POV.
November, Tango, Echo, roger, taxi for runway 25, time check 46.
Taxi runway 25, November, Tango, Echo. I just wanted to check to make sure that what the winds are doing first, before I accepted a tailwind takeoff. Landing lights, taxi lights. We'll be 50 knots by 1,000-foot marker. It's more like, not that much. About a 4-knot tailwind, which is fine. Igniter's on, lights are already on, bypass is done. November Tango Echo ready for departure.
November Tango Echo, roger, 25, caution bed strike hazard, make a left turn, clear for takeoff.
25 left turn, clear for takeoff, November Tango Echo. 33 degrees out, so 1470 on the torque. Ignition condition flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. Checklist is complete. Because this is only half the runway, we'll just do a short fill takeoff, 1470 and rotate 57. Airspeed's alive. There's 45 continuing. And there's a bird right where I want to go. Up 7-knot tailwind. Let's make a left-hand turn here so we don't hit that hawk. And then nose on over. We got 9 knots on the tail. Once we get our speed up over 85 knots, which is taking a little bit long today, then we'll start taking our flaps out. All right, there's over 85. And over 95 and climbing, we'll do 0 and bring our prop to 2,000 RPM. Madang Tower, November Tango Echo, departed time 49er, tracking 199er on climb 10,000. Estimating Goroka via the Bina, time 15.
November Tango Echo, roger, 25 miles, contact Moresby 120.1, HF 8819.
1201, 8819 or 25 miles, November Tango Echo, good day.
Today.
Landing light off, bypass back to normal and igniters turned off. Reset our ITT right back up to 720 for max climb. For cruise climb, I should say. And probably once we get right over top of this little layer right here, it's going to be perfectly blue skies, I'm guessing. But maybe just a little bit of clouds getting into the Benning Gap area where we'll be going in. Yep. Well, I thought considering that it is our anniversary this weekend, I'd maybe share a little bit how we met. I'm sure that some of you guys might like some backstory on how we met and how long we've been married and everything else. And anyways, we've been married for 17 years. We've got 3 kids. A daughter who's 14, and then 2 boys, 12-year-old and a 10-year-old. So we met at Bible College in Michigan back in 2002. Yeah, 2002. And actually my parents were on staff at this Bible college, so I had the privilege of getting like basically all of the new freshmen, like kind of their like bios and pictures and stuff my parents would get, just so that they would kind of know who the new students were coming in and stuff. And so yeah, my friends and I would always go through all of that and scout out all the hotties coming in for the new semester, and she was the hottie for that year. So anyways, yeah, I already knew her name, knew where she was from, her age, and things like that, and was kind of waiting around for the beginning of school to start up. But I was going to the same college though. And yeah, that's how we met. Is I just made sure that I had lots of planned events that I could just, you know, invite her along to, and thankfully she went to them. So, but yeah, that was 19 years. We dated 2 years before we got married. I'm gonna hit my nearest button right here, and that's gonna give me my distance away from Madang, because he told me to give them a call, to give Moresby a call at 25 miles. If I don't do that, I'll probably forget to give them a call until like 30 miles. You can also see this ring right here. That's the 25-mile ring for Madang, and that's also a good way to remind you. Do you want to say anything about how we met?
That's pretty much it.
Too much, huh? It's so nice up here. If you can get up to the altitude as quick as possible. I usually climb out at like the best rate of climb so we get as most amount of altitude in the shortest amount of time, all the way up to 10,000, just to cool it off, even though immediately we'll be going right back down here. And by the time we get to that river, we'll be going right back down.
So hot.
It is in a day. Well, it's actually not even that. I mean, it was 88 degrees. It's just, it's a difference from what we're used to up in the highlands. We're not used to the heat and the humidity. Anyways, like I was saying earlier, if you are a sim pilot and you'd like to try some of these flights out, I will leave the link down below where you guys can fly this little track. But basically, we're flying up here to the Bennett Gap, and then we'll fly down that. Maybe today we'll take it down the low route just so Chelsea can see a little bit more of the valley. But I have a lot of the bush places that I go to as well. And as well as like on the ground content, I walk around these places we go and walk through their village, and sometimes talk to the people there and ask them a little bit about what they're doing, or question, you know, whatever they're doing, or maybe how long the airstrip has been around for, when it was built, things like that. So if you're interested in that kind of content, I do have a lot of that kind of stuff, like I said, on my Patreon page. Now we're leveling off at 10,000. We'll wait till our speed gets up here up to 130, then we'll start reducing our power. But the reason why we want to level off before we start reducing our power is otherwise you'll just kind of sit there and slowly get up there. It's kind of like similar to a boat that's getting up on plane on a lake. If you don't keep your power in before you kind of reset it, it just sits there and just kind of wallers for a while until it can slowly get its speed up. Now that we're up to 130, now we'll reduce our torque back to 1250. And then also take a little bit of right rudder pressure out that we had for our climb. Alright, just another 3 miles before we cross the border. So a lot of you guys ask, why do I don't normally fly through clouds on my flights or with passengers and stuff? And this is why I don't fly through it, just because it's annoying, it's bouncy all over. The Kodiak has such a huge rudder in the back. You can see my turn quitter just swinging back and forth. I can push on the rudders as hard as I want to try to keep them still, and it will still just sit back there and wag its tail. So if you're sitting in the back of the Kodiak, you're gonna get sick really quick just because it swings back and forth. So, and also you have passengers that don't like flying in small airplanes, so they feel really uncomfortable. And also the biggest thing too for myself, even by myself, is it's fatiguing just to kind of like sit there and your body's using up little tiny muscles to like keep yourself kind of positioned how you want. And if you're flying like 5 hours in a day and unloading the plane 3 or 4 times, like that little bit will fatigue you that much more by the end of the day, and you don't really think of it, but it does. All right, there's 25 miles. Moresby 120.1, November Tango Echo, transfer.
November Tango Echo, Moresby, go ahead.
Up in November Tango Echo, 25 miles to the south, Madang 10,000, estimating Goroka 13.
November November Tango Echo, no reported traffic, area QNH 1011.
1011, November Tango Echo. All right, I've already got 1011 because I set it up down in Madang, and 1011 on my secondary as well. Turn off my fuel up here, start my timer to remind me to turn it back on in, let's say, 10 minutes.
November Tango Echo, no reported traffic, 15 miles, Goroka, contact tower 100 decimal 7.
No traffic, contact tower 15 miles, November Tango Echo. Well, I was planning on taking the low routes down through the Binna to show you, but there's a lot of clouds. I see one tiny hole that we might be able to get down through. Otherwise, we'll have to sail a bit higher until we get down. But we'll get up a little bit closer. I think I might be able to fit through that hole, and if we can, many times it just looks like a wall of clouds until you get up there, and then you're like, oh, now I can see there's actually a couple ways that we can get through. So I think that we still might be able to get down. Oh, did you turn on your thing? Your headsets? Did you turn them on to make it quieter? I have to hold it down for a second. Did it make it quieter? Yep. There you go. Is it like way quieter when you do that? Yeah, it is.
Tell me.
I forgot. Sorry, I don't use those headsets ever. All right. I think I can see a couple holes up here that we could probably go through, or what I think we can do is head over on the other side of this cloud, and I think it'll drop off. Or actually, no, I'm already seeing it's dropping off over here. We'll just come over here. Yeah, it's opened up nice. I'm gonna turn TAWs off. It's crazy how often, like this will just be so many clouds, and yet at the gaps there's always like more than 9.5 times out of 10 there's a way to get through the gaps, even though all along the mountains there's absolutely no way you can get through. It's unreal. Alright, we've got 14 knots coming over these, so we'll have downdrafts and kind of a lot more turbulence on this side, but when we get on the other side, it should smooth out a little bit.
Fine, I just think of it as like a roller coaster.
There you go. Everybody could just think that.
Some people don't like roller coasters.
That's true, though. The nice thing about P&G, they don't have like power lines going across the valleys. So the furthest I've ridden my motorcycle is this little clearing right up here where those little white roofs are.
Huh.
Yep. There's like, I guess a road trail that comes up here, but I think there's like a little river you have to cross and didn't have a bridge, so. But for you viewers, look at all these gardens everywhere. I mean, these people live off of the gardens, I would say, almost primarily. Not quite, because they live close to town, but a lot of their gardens, though.
But they don't have money to, like,
yeah, if they don't have money to get the food and stuff. But I mean, these are on the sides of the hills, and it is pretty crazy. But we're living in probably one of the best climates in the world, where it's perfect weather all the time, just enough rain, perfect temperature just about every single day. It's pretty much the exact same temperature every day.
There's not very much rain right now, so lots of times your crops fail.
Yeah, during this time of the year, it is a lot harder to grow, but actually kind of makes me want to go for a ride up here now. But this is the Binna area, if you're familiar with anything with P&G at all. And someone had pointed out to me in one of my last videos, I was talking about the Binna airstrip. I thought it was originally made by the U.S. Army, but it was actually made by some gold miners. And they made the airstrip hoping that they could do some gold mining and stuff, but it didn't really pan out to be very anything lucrative, at least in this specific area. And I think the Americans used it for just like a secondary one, but they didn't really park anything there like permanently or anything, but they did have it as a secondary one. So, and then I think the Goroka airstrip was already built pre-war, but I think the Australians maybe came in and the Americans maybe together, I'm not 100% sure. It's on pacificrex.com. But anyways, they extended the runway and just made it a lot better during the war. Now let's see if we can get a hold of tower, climb up a bit, get a tower. Once we get around this corner right here. Goroka Tower, November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo, Goroka Tower, having a right, go ahead.
I've been enrolling, November Tango Echo, 6 miles to the Binna Gap. Your circuit 15.
Affirmative, Echo runway 35 right, wind light in viewable, QNH 1018, sound circuit right base, airport again right base.
1018, track report right base, 35 right, November Tango Echo. We'll just level off at pattern altitude for now until we get a little bit closer. And look at all those fires and smoke all through the valley. That's all smoke, not rain. It's always bumpy in this section every single afternoon. Okay, 3 miles out. Let's go ahead and start setting up for a base and start slowing on down, getting our prop forward, and flaps in. November Tango Echo, right base, 35 right.
November Tango Echo runway 35 right, clear to land.
Clear to land, 35 right, November Tango Echo. Fuel selectors on, our TAWs, our VREF. We're 5,800, so 66 knots. Lights and inlet done. If we have to go around, power up 20 degrees, pitch for 73, reset ITT 740. Up end harnesses done, flaps to go. 166 knots. Got 8 knot tailwind on landing, so we'll just bump that up to like 72 knots. Like wind shear or drops off or anything like that, it's good to add a couple of knots on there. So full flaps now, start our turn because we do have a tailwind that's just going to push us, so we got to start our turn a little bit earlier. Like I said, we'll come in at 72 knots. And kind of give ourselves a crab just so we're not blowing off. We've got 6 knots tailwind now and 10 knots of crosswind. So probably some downdrafts right here. There. Alright, we're continuing. Low idle, get our flaps up. This is the only flight for today. Appreciate you guys watching it all the way to the end if you have, so thank you. Feel free to share this video with other Facebook groups or wherever else you might like to share it. It does help my channel grow, as well as comments and thumbs up if you thought it was worthy of a thumb up. And welcome here to Goroka. And that is it. Thanks again, guys, for watching. See you next time.